What up, LC heads? So I'm looking at the Royal Arc. I think I just kind of read over this thing before, but we never really talked about it. And actually, I may have come off even a little bit dismissive when I talked about this thing. So I want to make sure to be pretty solid about this. Because I was like, oh, Gold Rush 2, okay, so, it's not really going to affect your account's power, but in fact, it actually is. It really is. Gold Rush 2, enemies all drop plus 35%. That's substantial. 35% is substantial, right? Obviously, you're going to try to pair this up with Gold Rush 1. You're going to be getting a lot of gold out of it. And clearly this has the reverse cross, so you can open up that much more damage for heroes when they are backstabbing somebody. That's nice to be able to teach to. I mean, you can exploit this every time you're in a fight where you can apply backstab damage, which isn't a lot of them. So something like this on a character build could actually save you some SC, right? If you're capping by doing backstabs, you might be able to lower your attack, put some SC somewhere else, some survivability, something that's going to help you out more in that fight, right? If you can just get behind the boss and get your damage cap that way, if it works, whatever. The point is, it's nice to have this and be able to teach it to whoever you want. Weak point boost is on here. We already have that, right? And then we have there, when hitting an attribute weakness, enemies more likely to faint, which I think is cool. And the break plus 50%. 50% more on your break is a lot. It's a lot. And this isn't one of these things where you're going to be hitting this like reverse cross, like, when you backstab somebody, you get more break. Like, no, this is something that's going to be on all the time whenever you're hitting an attribute weakness. And for 4 SC, I think that's really cheap for what you're getting. Plus the feint in there, just against mobs and stuff. That's just really cool. And for 4 SC, I get that you have to be hitting an attribute weakness, but you're going to be, because you're always going to plan this out. That's what we do. When we go fight a boss that's weak to earth, we make sure to bring earth damage. There you go. That's automatically fulfilled, right? We also, we have control over that because we can break resistances to a certain extent. Even if it's a really protected boss, they're probably going to have at least one resistance that's a little bit lower that you can feasibly drop down to a very small weakness. There is very applicable all over there, just IMO, right? And then of course they're going to give you surprise attack, fast speed. So there's stuff that's useful here everywhere. It's not game breaking, but it is useful everywhere. Right, and we haven't even talked about Gold Rush yet, right? This reverse cross is useful everywhere. There is useful not just there, but everywhere, in my opinion, right? I think that's highly applicable for a very low SC cost for what you're getting, right? And then we have Gold Rush 2. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to be that excited about Gold Rush 2 being the big ability on here, but I actually have to say, as somebody that has an account that has been trying to play catch up, because this account was re-rolled when UR arcs first dropped, and let's see. Oh yeah, I just need to move that. Even right now, I'm at 2 million gold right under there, Zal, and I probably have another million in my inventory and gold bars to sell. But it's been pretty grim, right? And when you are working on a bunch of heroes, right? Heroes cost 1 million just to train to level 100, right? So I could crank out about 2 heroes right now, right? If I didn't pay for anything else. So Yes, it does catch up. I still have items that I've completely skipped in all of the shops and everywhere because I just don't have the gold for it, right? And I've been playing this account the whole time. So, gold is important. I would have a lot more gold right now if this account would have been rocking that ability that's giving you plus 35% more. So all in all, I actually think it's a very solid arc. It's a very solid arc. Geez, sorry guys, it's dry in here. It's a very solid arc. It's good all around. It's giving you a bunch of nifty stuff. And actually, I gotta say, the Arc Ether reward, it's not the most mind-blowing thing in the world, but it's pliable AF. Like, you can give this to anybody because, first of all, 60 strength, 60 intelligence, right? You're going to get 60 to one of your main attack stats, and some heroes are using strength and intelligence to do damage, so this is going to be great for them, right? Also, when party has at least 2 units that are alive, physical/magic attack damage plus 8%. So this is going to buff up physical attack. This is going to buff up magic attack. So any attacker can take advantage of this, highly pliable. And on top of that, just a little bit of attribute resistance to everything, right? I think this item would have been absolutely the shit if they would have just gave a little bit of ailment resistance. A little bit of stun resist would have, I would be throwing ether down on this for this item. But still, that's not the case. It is rated as a 6-star item. Let's say, that sounds about right. They got it pretty good this time. So all in all, not a bad item, right? Just between the attribute resistance and just how pliable this item is. Not bad for an accessory, right? And match that up with these abilities that you're able to teach. I think, just having this reverse cross to teach, you can get just a lot more out of a lot of heroes that don't have that. And there's plenty of heroes that don't, right? And then there is pretty damn good, especially for these heroes, for 4SC. Right, for these heroes, it's great, especially for Joker himself. I can only imagine. I can only imagine how stupid, ridiculous his breaking can be with there and breaker and advanced breaker, whatever the hell they're calling it now. Because he has great break in his kit already. Those values seem to be there and they seem to be good. I've seen what Joker can do with just breaker on him, right? If you have there to stack on top of breaker, your break value is getting multiplied by breaker, and now when you're hitting an attribute weakness, you're going to get plus 50 more percent to that break. Oh yeah, and they're going to be more likely to faint. That's just wicked, and that's going to work for both collab heroes, right? I would want to put it on Morgana, just for the extra feint, because I've been noticing that some of the stuff I've been running with Morgana, he makes fools faint around him all the time, or maybe it was just dumb luck and it was proccing a lot. I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't see anything specific with faint in Morgana's kit, but it was just kind of a little side note that I remember making. So this has great stuff for the characters. And let's not forget the arc trait is chance to get an item from the unit. Oh, chance to get an item when unit defeats a boss. That's cool. So there is some actual item find in this. It's another arc that you can actually run in your farming party, so that means this arc will be useful. And by the way, the boss usually always drops the freaking gold chest. I don't know if that factors into this at all, or if it's just a completely another chance to get an item. Maybe I don't know. The point is it has some item find on it, so it's gonna get used. This is an awesome LR arc. I actually did a free Lapis 10 pull for this that I didn't have to do, right? So I didn't want anyone thinking that I was just like ignoring this thing and disregarding it like it was nothing. It's got some really nice stuff. I did do like an extra pull for it. I didn't get it, but the smart thing to do, and that's why I'm saying a pull I shouldn't have done. The smart thing to do is to save and wait for part 2, because part 2 is where Last Cloudia does expect the players to chip in to get the other 2 heroes that are dropping. Doesn't look like there's going to be another 50-50 ticket to get one of the heroes. So that is unfortunate AF. Before I go in for this thing, I'm going to want to see how I do on part 2. That's just the smart thing to do, right? I would rather have the other characters to run. But I didn't want anyone to think that like I thought that this wasn't worth anything, because to me it is. Between the item steal, like I don't even need to read any more of the arc trait. Chance for skill attacks to deal an extra attack to enemies in break. Then that's also nice too. That's gonna make you do more damage in break. When an enemy is in break, restore SCT 15 seconds once per wave. Earth/dark attack crit damage cap plus 1000. Yeah, it's good stuff. It is good stuff. I would rock this thing. I'd use the hell out of it. So we will have to see. So far, really glad that they gave out that ticket. Because as it stands right now, with all the pulls that I've done, I would have only got the cat. Like, that's it. Because I didn't manage to pull anything. So let's see. We're on lap 3. I've done the lap 3 and the dailies. And I've thrown at least 20 or 30 of the free Lapis pulls and the tickets and everything. The only on-banner thing that I have gotten is the cat. So if we didn't have that ticket right now, like that would be really, really, really dumpy, because I'm hitting on the very, very low side of this gacha. Over here, if we just look at my gacha, I'm hitting at like a 1 or a 2% on something that's advertised to be I don't even know what they're trying to say it is now, 5%. I don't believe it. So we're not seeing a red pull every single 10 pull, or something around there. I just don't. And the fact that I've only managed to pull one on-banner thing on lap 3 already, plus a handful of 10 pulls in the other banner and all the tickets and everything, that just kind of shows, right? So then part 2 of this banner drops. Well, for part 2, there is no ticket to get one of the heroes. So now you have another banner like this that they expect you to fully pay into to pull on. That is just the grim, harsh reality of it. And it's like, man, look at my pull luck here. Like, I'm having to go to lap 3 to get one on-banner thing. So, and you guys are adding 2 more heroes and an arc. Man, I would have to go past lap 10 to clear, right? If this is how it is, I would have to go to like lap 9, which it wouldn't even let you do, in order to be able to clear part 2 of this. So, I don't know, something's telling me that they need to keep giving out those tickets so that players do not get fucked over and shafted, pardon my French, the way that I've already technically got in part one. The only reason this is not an issue right now at all is because we did get that ticket, right? And I did manage to, by pulling my one on banner, I did manage to actually not even clear this banner, but I at least have both of the characters to play with. Are they out anything for it? No, because I went all the way to lap 3 anyway. So they got that anyway, right? But this ticket leaves the game in a much better standing with me right now, even in this situation of going to lap 3 and just getting one on banner something, right? And then here comes part 2, and they're not going to have that cushion there, that safety. And I don't know, this is something that I think they really need to think about, right? Going to lap 3 on one of these just to get one on banner thing, where these things crap out at lap 4, and then you can't go anymore. And it's already hard enough. And I don't care what you say your on banner rates are. I'm sorry, I don't care what you say your rates are when your actual on banner rates are terrible. And that's what really reflects here when a player is pulling on a banner to try to get what's actually featured on the banner. It is very painful for most players, and I totally see why. So I think they need to keep giving that ticket out, okay? Specifically for and because these are limited collabs. They're hard enough for collectors, or even for especially for free to play players to skate by and have a dream of a chance at getting anything, right? And that's really what makes your game worth something, right? Is that you can have that effect on free to play players. That's where the majority of your community is going to be at, right? And it gives you a chance then to work with that player / customer and maybe get him to invest into your game later when they want to actually get a skin, or when they want to get a badass hero. If somebody plays this game religiously and loves it absolutely, eventually it's going to be their birthday, and what do you think they're going to want? Yo, just get me a $50 card, thank you. Yeah, right? Your game will have money coming in if you just make a good game that is free to play, player friendly. And this whole system right now is really, really not. This ticket adds some good cushion, and I think we need a lot more of that. And I'm talking about specifically for these collabs, these limited collabs. They should be used as an opportunity to bring players to the game. They do. They'll come over from other games, but they're not going to want to stay as soon as they realize how terrible and brutal the gacha is, right? If we have this thing where you are getting these tickets, you're getting these tickets for limited collabs, and you're guaranteed at least one of them for being there and playing through the collab, or for coming over and joining the game while the collab is happening. Right? If you know that that's a thing, and that every collab they're going to do that, there's a much better chance of the player actually sticking around and staying and coming back to this game time and time again, just for the collabs at least, so they can snag up their free character and get back into it. And hey, then you have another crack at selling that player whatever the hell you're trying to sell them. But I definitely think we need more of this. This needs to be implemented. If you agree, maybe, just maybe, they'll hear or see something about this, and you never know. Hey, all we can do is try, right? Trying to make Last Cloudia great again. Right? Later, everybody.